Hello there folks, and thanks for joining me again at my tying bench. Today's fly I'm going to tie you a terrestrial pattern. I was restocking my terrestrial box with beetles for this upcoming season, and I thought I'd share the pattern that I use most often for a beetle pattern. And I hope you enjoy it this fly this time around, so I'll get this little guide device here. First hook in and I'll get started for you. Now what I like to use for a hook is a caddis pupa hook, and I'm tying it on the larger size, a size 8 for you here for the video. So we'll get that hook locked down in the vise here. Just like that little wider gap there for my beetles. Okay, and for thread I'm using UTC, a little heavier thread this time, in the 140 denier this time. So what I'm going to do is start the thread about a hook eye length behind the eye. And we're going to wrap that back, and we'll keep coming down. We want to come down the bend a little bit on this hook here, so I'm going to snap the tag end off, and I like to come down a little ways on the bend, then wrap forward up to about the hook point or so. Now I'm using 2mm black craft foam here, and I have a little bit of a tapered point at the end here for the tie-in point. And what I like to do is, if you hold that foam towards you, and the thread torque, when you come up around, will carry that up around so it comes on top. Just a little trick there that'll help you tie in foam. And I'm going to come back down to where I brought my thread down on the bend. I got to come down about one more turn here, folks. Just another little ways down. Okay, let's check that there. Okay, just a little bit farther. Okay, that looks good, folks. Now we're going to wrap that foam down good, secure it in there well. Several snug wraps. Alrighty, so there's our foam tied in. Now, I like to add hackle on the body of my beetles, so I have a brown saddle hackle here, dry fly saddle hackle, and we're going to tie that in here, catch that in by the stem and bring it back to in front of their foam there, just like so. Wrap that stem down good and tight, and we'll come in and snip that off if I can get a hold of it here. Okay, now next is the body, and for the body I use peacock herl on my beetles, and I got 5 strands here for this first size 8, and I'll just come in here and snip off those brittle ends, and I'm going to catch those in on my side here, just like so. And if you've seen a lot of my videos, you know I always make a peacock rope with most times for the body. Much more durable that way. Okay. And I'll come forward to where I want to tie off. Now I'll take the loop in the herl and sort of get the herl in between the loop there. Grab a pair of hackle pliers. Okay, and we're going to twist that up. Okay, and before I wrap that, just for a little more durability, take a little bit of head cement and just run a little bead along there before I wrap it. Okay, now I'll use my rotary function here just to get that started, just like so. That back out of the way in the material clip. Now the thing with these ropes, you just don't want to over twist them because they can break on you. You just want to twist them enough so that the herl gives you a nice uniform body. If you notice that it's laying flat, just give it a few more twists as you're wrapping. Just like so here. Okay. Bring my thread back to where I want to tie off. Give that a few more twists. When I come up around this time, I'm going to tie off. Come around with a couple wraps. snug the thread up nice and tight. I'm going to wrap back on it a little ways there, lock it in, and snip off the excess. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so we're got that much done so far. Now, we're going to take the saddle hackle here, and I'm going to palmer that forward. Nice even spaces apart there. It doesn't have to be too fancy. I just add it for a little, give it a little more floatability. Tie off our hackle. Snug it down tight. Come in and tie that off. Snip off our excess here. Then we'll come back again to where we want our thread to be, right in front of where we tied off. Snip off a couple stray fibers there. Alrighty, I got one herl there that I sort of missed, so I'll just snip him out. It's no big deal, we still got 4 in there. Alrighty, so what I'd like to do next is trim the hackle on the top and the bottom on this. That way you have hackle coming out both sides. Now next I'll take my foam here, bring it across the back and hold it down with my finger. And we're going to come up around, make a couple soft wraps first and put some pressure on, one more wrap, then we'll cinch it down good and tight. That gives us our round foam body for the beetles, for the shellback there on the beetle. And I'm going to trim that just ahead of the eye a little ways there, like so. And I'm going to round off the corners. Just more or less round that head a little bit with the scissors. Give it a rounder shape. Alright, just like so there. Okay, now I'm going to wrap back. I want to get a little thread base there to tie in my legs and that. Okay, that's fine. Alrighty, got a couple stray fibers trapped there. I'll trim them out. Alrighty, now for the legs, I'm using, you can use round rubber hackle, which I do sometimes, but I'm using a material called flex floss here. I have a dark brown. Makes good legs on beetles and hoppers and whatnot. And what I'll do is just loop that like so. And I'll come in, bring that on top here. Make a couple wraps, not tight wraps. And then what I'm going to do is pull one side down on my side here, one on the opposite side facing you there. So there's what it ended up looking like right there. Okay, now I'm going to take a few wraps back towards the back of the legs there, rearward. Okay, I'm going to just trim those so they're not too long in the way there. I'm just going to trim those back legs a little bit. Now, for the indicator, I use Cleaves and Strike indicators on them. You can use orange, yellow foam, whatever you wish, 2mm foam. I just cut a little round disc there. Small piece of orange, and I'm going to tie that on top here, right between the legs. Get about 3 wraps and then snug it down nice and tight, push down. Just like so. Okay, I'll throw one more wrap in there. That's what that looks like so far, folks. Alrighty, so now I'm going to grab my whip finisher here. Make a 4 or 5 turn whip finish there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Keep those out of my way. Alright, snug that down nice and tight there. Cinch that knot good and tight. And come in and trim off the excess thread. Now what I'll do is snip that loop for the front legs. Now as you can see, they're way too long for legs, so I'm going to trim them here a little bit. I'll probably end up trimming them 2 to 3 times. You want the front ones a lot shorter than the rear legs, like so. And then I'm going to take my scissors and come in and just cut that indicator flush, just like so, so it ends up looking like that, just so it's not sticking up too far. Now the last step in the beetle, just take some Solarized bone dry here. I'm going to flip them over, put some UV here on them, a little bit of Solarized. Alrighty, now grab my UV light here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is hold those legs back as I cure that, because I want them to be going back a little ways, and that'll help keep them back. And we'll cure that up. It takes a few seconds here. Alrighty, that should be fine. Alright, now I want to trim them legs a little shorter yet. I'm going to come back and trim just past the body for the rear legs. Okay, the front ones I want them just past the head a little ways here, not too far. And there we have it, folks. That's how I tie my foam beetles. And sometimes I change up the hackle, like instead of brown I'll put black hackle, and like I was mentioning, you can change the color of your indicator, whichever color you think you can see the best. And I usually don't tie them on this size 8, I usually go from a 10 down to a 16 most times for my beetles. Just tied it larger so you can see it better on the video. So anyway, that's all there is to it. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And don't forget to hit the like button there and share with your friends as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the good old subscribe button and the little bell there. I appreciate that a great deal. And any comments you may have, throw them down below. Appreciate that as well. So until next time, folks, like I always say out there, happy tying, and I'll see you all again soon. And so long for now.